We often get caught up in the flashy parts of software development, the complex algorithms, the sleek UIs.
Right, the stuff that really jumps out at you.
Exactly. But what about those little files, the ones working behind the scenes? Today, we're diving deep into one of those in the Ruby world, the .gemspec file.
Yeah, it looks like just another config file, maybe something you just have to do to get your code out there.
Uh-huh.
But actually, a thoughtful .gemspec does so much more. It's kind of fundamental to how gems work together, how usable they are, how much people trust them.
So our mission today is basically to unpack why this file deserves more attention.
Precisely. And we're drawing heavily from a great piece in Ruby Stack News just out yesterday. Behind the Code, crafting a thoughtful .gemspec for your Ruby gem.
Ah, the one by Jeckerman Coding.
That's the one. They use their experience building a gem called Tricks Genius as a case study.
Oh yeah, the AI buttons for the tricks editor with stimulus. Sounds interesting.
It is, and it gives us a really concrete example to, pick apart as we go.
What's really cool is how the article frames the .gemspec right away. Not just technical details, but the gem's elevator pitch.
Exactly. I thought that was a great analogy. It really sums up its role in the wider Ruby community.
Okay, let's get down to basics then. For anyone maybe newer to making Ruby gems, what is a .gemspec file fundamentally?
Fundamentally, it's like the gem's passport, or its manifest, you could say.
Okay.
It's where you define all the core metadata.
Yeah.
Its name, its version, what other code it needs, its dependencies, the tools you use to build it, the license, and crucially, which files actually make up the gem.
So without it, your code is just .code, not really a functioning, shareable gem.
Pretty much. Without that .gemspec, RubyGem is the system that manages all these packages, wouldn't know what to do with it, how to build it, distribute it, identify it. It's the key, really.
Right. So back to that elevator pitch idea. How do specific bits of the .gemspec deliver that pitch?
Well, think about the name, version, summary, and description. Those are often the very first things someone sees.
Makes sense.
In the Tricks Genius example, we have s.name Tricks Genius, and s version equals 0.1.4. Instantly tells you what it is and how mature it might be.
Okay, that's the headline. And then the summary and description for Tricks Genius are, let me see, summary. Integrates AI-powered buttons with tricks using stimulus.
Quick, concise, you get the gist immediately.
And the description is slightly longer. Tricks Genius adds AI-powered buttons and other custom controls to Tricks Editor using stimulus.
Exactly. And the article makes a good point. The summary is your hook. Grab attention fast. The description is where you elaborate, explain the value, maybe the intended use.
Especially important on places like Ruby Gems or GitHub where people are scanning quickly.
Definitely. You need both that quick hit and the deeper dive info available.
Okay, moving on from just identifying the gem, the article talks about building trust through author metadata. What's that about?
Ah, yeah. That refers to the authors and email fields.
Seems simple enough.
It is simple, but important. For Tricks Genius, it's s.authors Jimenez Silva, German Alberto, and an email address.
So why is that about trust?
Well, think about it. If you use a gem and hit a snag, or have a question, or maybe an idea for improvement.
Ah, you know who to contact.
Exactly. It provides a clear point of contact. It shows someone standing behind the code, willing to engage. That fosters community, responsibility. It makes the whole thing feel more reliable.
Good point. The .gemspec also handles the nitty-gritty of what's in the gem, right? The files and require paths.
Precisely. The files attribute tells Ruby gems which files and directories to bundle up when someone installs the gem.
Like the actual Ruby code templates, maybe specs?
Yep. In Tricks Genius, it uses dirlib, generators, templates, spec. It's using those glob patterns.
Okay, and require paths.
That tells Ruby where to look for the code after it's installed in someone's project. And usually it's just lib.
And the article mentioned using dir. Like, that is smart because
Because it's dynamic. Instead of listing every single file manually, which gets tedious and error-prone.
you just point to the directories and it grabs everything.
Right. Add a new file in lib, it gets included automatically. Delete one, it's gone. Much cleaner, more maintainable.
Makes sense, especially as the gem grows.
For sure. It shows foresight in the gem structure.
It's not just about the code files, though. The article stresses including project links and other metadata, too.
Oh yeah, the metadata hash. This is super useful. You can add links for all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like the source code where you usually GitHub, the changelog URI, documentation URI, where to report bugs with bug trackery, maybe a home page URI, even a wiki URI.
Wow. Okay, so it turns the Ruby Gems page or the repo into a real hub for the project.
Exactly. It makes it so much easier for users to find everything they need. Understand the history, learn how to use it, report issues, contribute back.
That transparency definitely builds more confidence.
Totally. It signals the author cares about supporting the users and the community around the gem.
Okay, let's talk compatibility. This is always a big one. How does the .gemspec handle that? Dependencies.
Yes, this is critical.
Yeah.
You've got required Ruby version first.
Right, which Ruby version does it need?
For Trix Genius, it's S required Ruby version 3.0. That little squiggle greater than.
So total waka.
Yeah, the pessimistic version constraint. It means version 3.0 or higher, but less than 4.0.
So it allows for patch updates within the 3.x series, but stops short of a potentially breaking 4.0.
You got it. It tries to balance allowing updates with the preventing major compatibility breaks. Then you have add dependency for other gems.
Like Rails, Stimulus, Action Text.
Right. Trix Genius needs Rails, specifically version 6.0 but 9.0, and Stimulus Rails 1.3, Action Text 8.0, Faraday 2.12, and YAML.
So specifying these versions is all about preventing.
Preventing dependency hell. By being clear about what versions work, you save users a ton of headaches from installing incompatible gems. It makes the install process much smoother.
Okay, but the article also mentioned development dependencies. How are they different?
Good question. These are added with s-add development dependency. They list gems needed only when working on the Trix Genius gem itself.
Not for someone just using it.
Exactly. So Trix Genius lists RSpec for testing
Makes sense.
and generator spec, probably for testing its Rails generators.
Yeah.
These tools aren't needed by the end user, just by the developer maintaining the gem.
So it keeps the user's installation lean, doesn't force them to install your testing tools.
Precisely. It's another sign of a well-structured, considerate gem.
And finally, the big one in open source, the license.
Absolutely crucial. You declare it using the license attribute. Trix Genius uses s.license, MIT.
Why is explicitly stating the license like MIT so important?
Well, it removes all ambiguity about how people can use your code. Can they use it commercially? Can they modify it, distribute it? The license answers those questions.
And MIT is quite permissive, right?
Very. It basically says, do what you want, just keep the copyright notice, and don't hold me liable. This encourages people to actually use your gem, build on it, contribute back. It builds trust in the open source community.
So tying it all together, the article concludes the .gemspec is like the gem's DNA.
Yeah, I like that description too. It defines its purpose, its structure, who made it, what it needs to survive, dependencies, where it lives online, everything.
And the author's goal for Trix Genius was for it to feel thoughtful right from the start, starting with this file.
Exactly. It shows that care put into even these metadata files really elevates the entire project.
So the big takeaway seems to be, don't underestimate the .gemspec. It's not just bureaucracy, it's communication, it's trust building, it's ensuring things actually work together in the Ruby ecosystem.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It really is a cornerstone. Hopefully next time folks look at a .gemspec, they'll see more than just lines of config. They'll see the thought that went into it.
Definitely. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this one file holds so much, what other small, maybe overlooked files in other tech stacks are doing similarly heavy lifting? What's the elevator pitch hidden in, say, a package.json or a Docker file?
That's a really interesting thought. Every ecosystem probably has its equivalent.
Something to ponder. And just to wrap up, it sounds like the author, Jiggerman Coding, is open to connecting with others working on gems or interested in AI and rich text in Rails.
Yeah, definitely reinforces that community aspect we talked about.